A boy with a gun. Inside Edition tracks down the mother of the teen cops say went on a rampage at school. And a classmate shot in the leg tells Inside Edition.
I crawled with my arms through the hallway.
Step by step, what really happened inside.
School bullies in the halls. How much teasing does it take to drive a troubled teen over the edge? See how families can fight back. A waitress hits the jackpot, $35 million. But weeks after celebrating her thrilling win, a crash changed everything.
I cannot move my fingers or my hands.
Now see how the millionaire in a wheelchair wants the driver to pay. Big news for superstar Bette Midler. Her show just got canceled. But is it good news or bad news for Bette? Inside Edition with Deborah Norville.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Stacy Sweet, in today for Deborah Norville. It's impossible to imagine what would drive a teenager to the violence committed at that high school outside San Diego yesterday. But one element of the accused Charles Andrew Williams' character is being widely reported. He was picked on by other kids. Now many wonder what role bullying might have played. April Woodard reports.
The story is all too familiar. Classmates teased Charles Andrew Williams. They made fun of his skinny body. Some called him a freak and a dork.
He's a kid that gets picked on a lot because he doesn't stand up for himself.
Words can hurt as much as punches.
He just was a little kid that everybody picked on and just tried to fit in, couldn't, and I think this is his way of getting back at everybody.
If bullying did drive Charles Andrew Williams to this, it won't be the first time picking on a kid has ended in violence. Columbine gunmen Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold opened fire on their classmates because they felt like outcasts. A study by the Secret Service said that victims of bullying were involved in some 20% of recent school shootings. One expert calls it defensive aggression. Schools are trying to fight back, stop the problem before it ends in violence, with videos like this. Every year, some 160,000 children skip school because they're afraid of being picked on. But what do you do if you believe your child is being bullied?
We should remember that the victim of a bully is being constantly humiliated and shamed.
Dr. Henry Paul is a child psychiatrist and the author of Is My Child Okay?
In the old days, when I was a kid, if a kid kept on getting picked on, at some point a parent would say, you got to fight the bully. Unfortunately, in modern times, that's really not possible anymore.
Experts say kids who are being picked on show warning signs.
Parents should always be aware of any changes and take seriously any changes that occur in their child's behavior or thoughts or feelings.
That's when parents need to act.
By act, I mean speaking to their child, often speaking to the parents of the supposed bully, and of course speaking to the school authorities.
But what if your child is the bully? Experts say you can tell if a child is going to be a bully as early as 2 years old. And if you haven't done anything about it by the time your child is 8 or 9, it may be too late. That child is 4 times more likely to have a criminal record by the time he's 30.
Early intervention programs now in schools and in nursery schools are aimed at the earliest signs of behavioral discontrol that we see in young children. The earlier we get in, the quicker it is and the more helpful it is for the child's future.
But Charles Andrew Williams' classmates say there's no excuse for what he did.
Everybody gets picked on, everyone gets bullied. This kid just wanted attention, I feel.
We don't yet know what role bullying played in Williams' rampage, but we do know that parents may be the only ones who can stop something like this from happening again.
I think the institution that we have to rely on, and the bottom line here, are the parents of our children.
The mother of the young man accused in the high school massacre apologized for the shooting today. She said her heart goes out to the families of the victims, saying, quote, they've lost their babies, their hopes, their dreams, their futures. She also said her son's future is lost. We'll have more coverage of the shootings later in the broadcast. It was a story that made national headlines. A Las Vegas cocktail waitress wins the biggest slot machine payoff in history.